It's an interesting one. I think maybe he's just a horse that he just isn't that good.
Hello and welcome back to the Staying On Racing channel. This is our Cheltenham Festival Day 3 preview. Lots of favourites, lots of races to go through. We're going to go through the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, the Mayor's Hurdle, Stayers Hurdle, Ryanair Chase, and then touch on some of our handicap fancies as well. Gareth, Ryan, welcome back.
Hi Jack, how are you?
Very good, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Ryan, how are you, bud?
Yeah, very well, mate. Yeah, Thursday's always a graveyard for favourites, so maybe the favourites won't be winning, but there's a lot of them.
Yes, and I'm going to make sure to put up nearly every single one of them. We'll start, I suppose, with the hot favourite in the Mayor's Novice. Probably one of my favourite bets of the week, Bambino Fever. I reckon she's got a great chance of reversing the form with Old School Outlaw, or has Old School Outlaw improved past her? What do you think?
I think Bambino Fever will reverse that form. I thought she was going to win that race that way. I think Old School Outlaw did hold her quite well up the straight, but I think it was just a case of her not having a run. What I didn't realise until last week was that she doesn't get a penalty for winning the race at Ferryhouse last week, so they are off level weights. So it'll be close between them again. It does look like a bit of a two-horse race. I've been putting Bambino Fever into almost every multiple I've been doing. At the moment, I think she's got a very, very good chance, and I think even at 7-4, I think she'll still go off quite a bit shorter. Of anything at a bigger price, it's hard to know what really is going to turn up. I think those two might scare quite a few away. I think Cousin Kate is a horse that's improved a lot over the course of the season. She won a decent handicap at the DRF. She's at 20-1. She does run again tomorrow at Punchestown. She is favourite there. I mean, if she wins there tomorrow, she'll be up to probably a mark in the 130. So that would probably give her a decent chance of placing at 20-1. But it's hard to see past the first two in the market.
Yeah, Gareth, you echo those thoughts? Are you firmly in the Bambino Fever camp?
Certainly echo Ryan's thoughts there about the first two. It's a two-horse race for me. Similar to Ryan, I was putting Bambino Fever into a lot of bets there over the last month or so. I was definitely a little bit scared of Old School Outlaw when I saw her come out there. Thought she was very impressive. But we knew a lot of Willies were needing their first run this year. It'll just be interesting to see if she can improve past her. I think it'll be very close, but I would probably just side with Bambino Fever. But expecting a good race. I don't think there'll be a whole lot in it, but I think those two are clear on form, and obviously their form tied in with each other.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, hopefully, to see that reversed. But definitely not as confident in Bambino Fever as I maybe was 2 weeks back.
Yeah,
but then again,
Old School Outlaw just keeps improving.
So, yeah.
She just keeps improving, and she jumps well, travels really well. There's nothing to really crab her on, except the fact that Bambino Fever did get so close without the benefit of a run. Old School Outlaw obviously had the one previous run, but she's improving run to run. I do agree that it'll be close. Maybe the reason Bambino Fever isn't shorter because she won a bit of a procession. If she was some sort of decent race, she might be even closer to the odds-on mark. There's a couple of horses making up the market here that I'm not sure are going to run. Salma Davari, she's third favourite. Surely she's going to run in the Triumph. Monge 2 is also probably going to pitch into the Triumph. So you're really looking at 12-1, 14-1 the field. So that kind of ties into the fact that it's a two-horse race. I obviously will be siding on Bambino Fever as well. Obviously the champion bumper, previous back class she has as well from last year, should carry her through this race. The fact that she got so close, not even the fact that it was her first run, I think more the fact that Mullenses were running so poorly at the time, that I think you could probably mark that performance up. It's not a massive betting race, to be honest, unless, as you say, just a multiple kind of bet booster where you're sticking Bambino Fever in the trebles and doubles. It's a lot of those races today, a lot of interest in, like, or on the Thursday even. The Mayor's Hurdle, again, it depends what shows up. I think Lizzie Mount's going to show up. It's kind of looking that way at the moment.
Yeah, I think it looks likely that she will turn up for this. I mean, in recent days, I've got a feeling maybe she might go for the champion. Or they might go big this year, but if she does turn up in this, she's going to go odds on. I mean, well, she is odds on everywhere now, even with the non-runner no bet. She was until last week. There were places offering 5-4 non-runner no bet, which seemed a bit big. I would do, she gave her a decent race at entry in the entry hurdle, so maybe she could give her a decent race. She always just seems to do enough. Her form this year isn't brilliant, but she always seems to step up against better opposition. So maybe she can give her a bit of a race, but this is hard to see out the side of the first two, isn't it?
Yeah, she's like, what price will she be on the day if she show? Obviously, it depends on what shows up against her, but you're talking probably 4 to 7, maybe even shorter.
Yeah, I think Woodoo maybe keeps her 4 to 6 ish, 4 to 6, 8 to 11.
Yeah,
But yeah,
she's popular enough. Bet Woodoo. I see a lot of people saying that Woodoo will beat Lossiemouth, but on form, you can already say that Lossiemouth had her pretty easily held at Aintree. She just looks a better mare over this sort of trip, which is probably the reason why I think she'll go here. Although it's a very open champion hurdle, we did touch on it in the last video, but it's just a penalty kick, really, isn't it, Gareth?
Yeah, Jack. She turns up here, penalty kick. I've been on the related double most of the season. Lossiemouth the champion and Voodoo for the mare. So I'm holding on to a glimmer of hope that she goes champion. And similar to Ryan, over the last few weeks, I definitely think there's more and more of a chance that she's going to go champion. I don't know why I think that. I think the open nature of the race lends itself to her going there. I don't think there's anything she has to fear in the champion hurdle. Nothing that I don't think she could beat. And if she turned up in the day, as we mentioned previously, she'd have every chance. But in this race, we do cracking mare. Lossiemouth obviously holds the form edge over her on her run of the injury. Could be a close enough race again, but like we know how reliable Lossiemouth is around Cheltenham, and I'd expect her to be a shorty for the multiples on the day, and one probably just to add a few short multiples on the Thursday and hope for once that the favourites pad in, which doesn't normally happen.
No, especially not Thursday and Friday. That seems to be a bookie's days. Jade DeGrugy third in the market. Do you think she'll be rerouted here, or she's going to take her chance in the Mouse Chase?
I think she'll go for the mare's chase. Yeah, it depends, I suppose. If Lossiemouth does go to the champion hurdle, then I suspect she will be rerouted. I think it'll solely depend on what Lossiemouth does. I think if Lossiemouth goes here, they'll be fully expecting her to win and won't need Jade DeGrugy. Yeah.
Would she be an okay bet at 8-1 non-runner no bet? Because surely she wouldn't show up if Lossie does.
Yeah, I'd be in agreement with that. I mean, fourth in the market is take no chances, isn't it? I mean, she came third last year for Dan Skelton, but you wouldn't be backing her to beat Jade DeGrugy. Jade DeGrugy already beat her last year with a not very good prep last year. So yeah, I wouldn't be against that bet at all.
Okay, we'll move on to the stayers.
Just going to mention one other one. I'm not sure what the intention is. Feet of a Dancer. I thought she ran quite well last day in England. Could be one again if you fancy taking the 10-1 on each way shot. If you're banking on one or two of those top three in the market not turning up. I mean, I'm just looking at Sky here. Got Lossiemouth, Voodoo, Brighter Days Ahead, Jade DeGrugy, Feet of a Dancer, Golden Ace, top six in the betting. You'd say there's a good chance 4 of those to run here. And all of a sudden you've got 10-1 Feet of a Dancer. Probably at this stage, I think looks the value. I did see murmurs that she might go for one of the handicaps. But if she turned up here, even if Woodoo and Lossiemouth ran, I'd say there's a good chance you can still run in the place.
Yeah, Paul Nolan, obviously a very good target trainer. Had a winner last year in the National Hunt Chase. Was it?
No.
Am I getting that wrong? With the handicap?
It wasn't National Hunt Chase, that was Holly Clear, wasn't it?
On the Kim Muir, didn't he?
Kim Muir, yeah.
We were big Johnny Boo, which I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. We were all dancing around the villa in Lanzarote singing Johnny Boom as he bungled over the last and got outstayed. It was glorious.
That was a painful watch.
Yeah, it was painful. And the English handicapper done him no favours, by the way. He couldn't even drop him back down to 145 for redemption this year in the Kim Muir. But I'm sure we'll touch on that and a certain JP horse in the Kim Muir later.
Number 50 in the national weights though, and I think he'll get into that off bottom weight, and the money will be paid back.
Captain Cody 152. Watch out. Patrick Mullen said he's very interested in him, so hopefully that means he doesn't get to ride him. Yeah, the Stayers Hurdle Tiupu. It's mixed opinions on this horse. He's rock solid, but do we fancy him to win it? He could. The argument could be made that he should be a 3-time Stayers Hurdle winner, and he's not. He's only won it once.
Yeah, I think possibly at the price he is now, maybe he's not worth a better 7-4 anyway. I think he'll be that price, or he'll be bigger on the day. There's no point betting on him now. He's the right favourite. Bob Ollinger's another year older. Honesty policy's got to improve, and as a 5-year-old, it's very difficult to win this race. Marchantou and Impostoir, I think they're pretty closely matched based on that last run. Marchantou did beat him quite easily, but Impostoir was giving him £7. So on a bit of better ground, they'd be quite closely matched. I think Tiupu is definitely the right favourite. Dan Skelton's talking that Cabral de Matin is a lot more likely to run now, but they're still favouring just going straight to Aintree with him. I think Ballyburn, I think at 14-1 is probably slightly disrespected. He got close to Tiupu in the Hatton's Grace. 14-1 is a big price if he can get back to that form, but that's possibly wishful thinking as well. I actually thought Feet of a Dancer I was going to mention for this race at 40-1. I thought she ran a good race in the Pertemps last year, came from very far back. She's 40-1 for this race. Her only entry for handicaps was in the Coral Cup, so I presume she's off a mark of 141, so she'd have to improve quite a bit to be in the reckoning for the Stayers. But or if Velocimap turns up for the Mez, so she's probably going to go to the Coral Cup. But I think if pushed, I'd probably be looking at maybe Ballyburn or possibly Impostoir if the ground's a bit better. I wouldn't give up on him completely, but even then he's had an entry in the Pertemps, and they're talking about possibly going there off of a massive weight. So not sure who's even running in this, to be honest. So Tiupu overall, Tiupu probably is the solid one.
So for the Stayers Hurdle, you put 2 horses that don't stay 3 miles.
Yes.
You put 2 horses that will probably come to the bottom of the hill on the absolute billy and then just start panting their way up the hill. Would you not be concerned that Ballyburn, one, is going to win the champion hurdle like I put him up for, but he probably will run here? Or do you not think he doesn't stay, or are you just forgiving the effort the last time, thinking maybe he just wasn't himself that day?
I think even if that race the other day was over 2 miles, Tiupu would have beaten him. So I don't think the trip really mattered the last day. I don't know what was wrong with him. I don't know why he hasn't run since, to be honest. It's an interesting one. I think maybe he's just a horse that he just isn't that good.
I think this preview so far sums up why Thursday is a bookies day. We put Feet of a Dancer for 2 different races. We've got Ballyburn up already, and we're only 10 minutes into the preview.
That probably says it all about this race for me. I'd be leaving it alone till the day where hopefully Tiupu. I'd imagine Tiupu will probably be around the 5-2 mark on the day, 9-4, 5-2, and I think that's probably perfectly acceptable. He'll run this race. He probably should win, but he should have won possibly the last 3, and he's only won 1 of them. So, can you really rely on him?
Bob Ollinger, does he just need it to be a slowly won race? That he just kind of everything fell perfectly for him last year. And I seen Henry de Bromhead was on saying that he's better than last year. Somehow he's improving at 10 years old. Can crab his unbeaten Cheltenham record, but does he just need the cards to fall perfectly right, Gareth?
Yeah, he does, Jack. I think Tiupu's very solid here, personally, at the top of the tree. Bob Ollinger got his grind last year, I think, with the slowly run race. Definitely agree. Tiupu probably should have won 3. I don't think his first ride from Davy Russell or his last ride from Jack Kennedy in the most recent one was either of their finest stars. I think last year, if Jack had that race back again, he probably would have pushed on from the home turn, because I think the way that was ran just played in the Bob's hands. I heard Gordon saying he thinks Tiupu is arguably better than ever this year. That was a nice performance he put up at Christmas. Obviously, he increased the distance between himself and Ballyburn up in trip. I'm not convinced Ballyburn wants an out-and-out 3-man. I think he's maybe a little bit tripless. I also just don't think he's as good as we thought. I think back to the RSA last year, and you're hoping He jumped terribly, but you're hoping when he got to the last, there's a chance he might just stay on from the last and pick up the pieces, and he didn't. And I'm just not convinced he wants that 3-mile trip. But I think Tupu's pretty solid. As you know, Jack, I was on the Impotois train early doors with fancy prices. I think that hill was definitely, he'll have PTSD when he sees that again. But I think with a bit of better ground, he could go close. But I think the ground is probably going to come up for Tupu, and I think we're not going to get any better than soft based on how things have been recently and how things are going to be over the next few weeks. So yeah, you're probably looking at Aussie Mouth Tupu, shorty double there on Thursday to get things started.
Yeah, it's definitely the forecast is, if it's going anything like it has been for the last 8 to 10 weeks, you're probably looking at a soft ground festival. It doesn't suit the speed horses like Impotois. I remember, I think I texted you immediately after that race. The second he hit that bottom of the hill, he just did not want to know. So I'd be very concerned being on Impotois. Mashon 2 is a bad price at 7-1, surely. I couldn't have him in my eyes at all. I am going to go with a Gordon Elliott horse. Not the favourite. The horse that he said in his recent stable tour is the biggest danger. I know it is hard to come and win a race of this nature at his age as a young horse. It seems to be a young horse every year that's going to come and challenge the old dogs, but it is an old dogs kind of race. But I'm going to go for honesty policy. I really like the way he travelled through his comeback race, and he's got the back form from last year. I mean, the second Jasmine DeVoe won the Bartlett, I was backing him for the stayers, and honesty policy was only half a length behind him in the Grade 1 at Punchestown. So he's got that back form with a good horse that I think in Jasmine DeVoe. So I'll stick with him just because I think Tiupu's beatable. I think he's a really, really good benchmark, but I think he just finds a way to get himself beat, and I can't really fancy any of the horses in behind. Ballyburn mightn't even, he might go straight to Aintree. Mashon 2, I can't fancy him. Cabral de Matan might skip it. Bob Ollinger needs a slowly run race. Like, I'm going through, I can't see any horse. You're back to Hewick, Yellow Clay, a lot of non-runners here, so I think 7-2 might be a good price on honesty policy. It could end up a bit shorter on the day. But yeah, Stayers Hurdles is always a tough race to get right. Speaking of tough races to get right, who is going to be the Willie Munn's horse running in the Ryanair Chase? I know you all have the anti-post slips on Fact to File, so I'm assuming that's where you're hoping he's going to go. But realistically, what do you think, Ryan?
All the talk from coming out of those Willie Mullins stable tours, if it's Willie Mullins' decision, which he keeps saying it isn't, but if it is his decision, he's going to the Ryanair, which is fairly surprising considering the way he won the Irish Gold Cup. I think people have kind of looked back at it and thought, actually, it's a bit different winning that and then winning the Gold Cup. You had Florida Pearl, who won several Irish Gold Cups and couldn't stay the distance in the Gold Cup. So I think they're possibly thinking down similar lines there. So I think he might rock up there. It's a tough race to have a bet in again because the only horses that are definitely turning up are Hartwood, maybe Founder 50 and a couple of others. I mean, Nicky said John Bond's no certainty to run. Banbridge doesn't seem to ever perform at the Cheltenham Festival. Impero Pass just returned over the weekend. Fact Finding Gaelic Warrior could go Gold Cup. It's a very hard race to have a bet in. Either one of those two that turns up, Gaelic Warrior or Fact File, I think would be an odds-on shot and would likely win the race. With Hartwood probably chasing one of them home. But yeah, it's a hard race to have a bet in at the moment.
Yeah, I seen in the stable tour before Imperial Pass ran, they were hinting at it's very unlikely that he's going to run at Cheltenham, especially running this close to it for his first run of the season. I don't think they're going to pitch him at Cheltenham. John Bond's had a long season already, and he had a tough race last time out. Even if he goes there, I'd probably be against him. I'm in the minority in that I seem to be in the minority that I think Factiful should run here. Like, I don't think he was taken out of the Gold Cup for no reason. Like, the fact that he won a steadily run Irish Gold Cup that fell apart, like, if you watch it back from the back of the last all the way home, he doesn't really put that much ground in between him and Gaelic Warrior that there wasn't already there before coming to the last. And Gaelic Warrior pulled like a train the whole way around. So I'm just not convinced that 3 mile 2 around Cheltenham is what he wants. Like, just go to the Ryanair, especially if John Bond doesn't come here. Factophile, I think, will definitely step in here and take his chance. Patrick Mullins was on saying he's going to try and convince them to send Gaelic Warrior to the Gold Cup. He thinks he'll settle there. He thinks the lack of an inside rail at Leopardstown was why he was running so keen. But he said he wasn't running free, so you could kind of control him a little bit. He's just enthusiastic. And he also said he came out of the race absolutely bouncing. So if I was them, I think there'll be a good clip in the Gold Cup looking at the entries. So I think pitch him in there, stick Factophile in the Ryanair and win both. Gareth, Factophile or Gaelic Warrior in this race?
Definitely love your wishful thinking, mate. I would love that to happen. Yeah, few early season anti-post bets on Factophile for me, and I've also backed Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup in a few bets. I would totally disagree with you though. I would love to see Factophile go into Ryanair, but I definitely think after winning an Irish Gold Cup, he should be trying his hand at a Gold Cup. I know it's not certain that he'll stay, but I think it's a shame for the game if he doesn't throw his hat into the ring there and at least try it. It'd be different if he had tried it before and hadn't stayed, but I think going into the unknown there, I think it would be disappointing if he didn't roll the dice. As much as I would like him just to go and hack up in the Ryanair. I think, as Ryan said, whichever one comes here, Gaelic Warrior, Factophile, takes all beating. On the off chance that they both would go to Gold Cup, which I think is unlikely, probably something like Hartwood at 8-1's potentially a good bet. I think Factophile beat him last year, 6 or 8 lengths. That might be good enough to win it this year if those two aren't in it. I'd be keen to take on John Bond given how much racing he's had this season, and also, as a lot of people, not totally convinced he loves Cheltenham. So yeah, couldn't have John Bond in mind. If I had to put up one that I think was certain to run at this stage, it would probably be Hartwood at 8-1. Looked good at Tremor on New Year's Day for all that he only beat Champ Caddy, I think, so it doesn't take a lot to beat him. But yeah, I thought he jumped and travelled well.
He turned into Barry Connell there. Everyone beats Champ Guiley.
Everyone beats Champ Caddy,
yeah. It's just a tough race to get involved in at this stage. Like, you're really not. There's no benefit to having a bet right now, because if you back Hartwood and either of those horses going that are ahead of him in the market, you're basically sitting on a losing slip unless you back it each way.
Unless you've got a really strong opinion on one of those top two going there, because you can get 9-4 on either of them without the non-runner no bet. If you've got a really strong opinion on that, then either one of them is worth a good bet at that price. But you'd have to be very, very confident, which I don't think you can be.
No, especially not with the Willie Mullins camp. I think a lot of it depends on. I know the way you're thinking. I know he's run absolutely horrendous this whole season, but all it will take really is Cromwell to come to JP and go, look, he's starting to come to himself. So then you have, I know the way you're thinking, and Spallan's Tower pitching into the Gold Cup, and automatic, then you can just slot Factophile back here and let him win the race again. But it's pretty impossible to guess at this stage.
I think they need it to be, or need to think that it's going to be a fairly slowly run Gold Cup to commit Factophile there. I think if it was last year's Gold Cup, what did you have, 7 or 8 runners?
Yeah.
I think maybe they'd have been inclined to go for it even more, because you're thinking there might be a slowly run race here. I mean, this year you've got so many horses that want to be prominent, Galloping the Dots, Fancy Color, Jukebox Man. They all want to be prominent. It's going to be it's going to be 12, 13 runner field. They're going to go quick, and I think they might just look at it and think, I'm not convinced that he'll stay in a well-run Gold Cup, and they'll take the easy option. And that might be pocket talk, but I'm quite hopeful that
look at it and think Patrick Mullins sitting in behind the pace in a Gold Cup on Gaelic Warrior is an absolute certainty. Send them there and hose up, win Rich Richie the Gold Cup. Speaking of impossible things to do, let's pick out some handicap horses for Thursday.
Here, I'll start here if you don't mind, Jack, because I've had an absolute shocker here. Yeah, good job. I checked the racing post before it came on. I was really keen on Quebecois. I was just seeing he's been beaten 16 lengths today. I was just about to put him up, and I just wanted to just check who was second to Cheltenham, and I was like, second out of 3, when was that? And so it was today. So yeah, I think I may be back to the drawing board there. So that's been a bit of bit of a shitter.
I
But
think
yeah,
Quebec he's going to the Ultima, isn't he? That's the plan. I think
he's
Nicky
better
said.
going home and seeing the table.
Race cars gallop.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, I think that sums up my handicap opinions this year.
they're so like the Pertemps. If any of us put up a horse in the Pertemps right now, I'm gonna end the channel. You just cannot. I find it the most impossible betting heat of all time.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
well,
Like,
I'll just quickly take it up then because I've got one that I quite fancy in the Pertemps if it turns up. Um, I'm pretty confident Manila Emperor is going to go to the Pertemps. Um, I think he ran at Haydock at the weekend, ran a decent race to come second. I think they were just seeing what sort of mark he'd get. He's off a mark of 129. He's got some decent form. He's come third behind Due Proof. He's 4 lengths behind Espresso Milan. In January. I think he's got himself qualified now off a mark of 129. I think he'll have a decent chance. He's around the 14 to 1 mark. I think he'd be a decent bet for the race because he's definitely going there. But yeah, other than that, you can end the channel now, I suppose.
yeah, all I need to hear was Espresso Milan. Any collateral form horses I like, and I'm already just roped in. I just find it so hard because the qualifying conditions, you have to place top four in the Pertemps qualifier, and then I'd like to know the stats of how many horses have won a Pertemps qualifier and actually gone on to even place in a Pertemps. It feels like you want to back the horses that come third or fourth, but then you could
Yeah.
you could look silly because you might have accidentally run into a placer. You just don't know.
That's exactly what I like about Manila Emperor, though. He's clearly only come over for that. It was a qualifier at Haydock over the weekend, so he's obviously just come over. He wasn't necessarily trying his best to win 5.5 lengths back in second. Keeps his mark of 129, so I think he is a good bet for it.
It's always good to be on an Irish horse that isn't gonna get an extra £5 from the English handicapper regardless. So that's good. Two horses. Like, you got two clear favourites in the Jack Richards and the Kim Muir. Jericho de Rapine was taken out of the Ultima, so that's another losing slip for me and Ryan. Which is interesting that they've just committed straight away to the Kim Muir after the £3 allowance from the British handicapper they got last time. Any thoughts on him? 4-1, very short for a festival handicap, but oh God, he could just bolt up and make us all look silly, couldn't he?
He could, yeah. My only other handicap fancy of the day was in the same race and actually in the same colours. I was really impressed by Montrigard at the weekend for JP. Travelled really well and found plenty on the home turn at Ascot. So he was interesting. Not sure if the plan is to go here, and you'd have quite a quick turnaround, just under 4 weeks from race to race. But yeah, I thought he was good and looked like he won with plenty in hand. Interesting to see his mark. I'm not sure that mark's been revised yet from Saturday's racing. Probably has, I just haven't seen it yet. But I see he's shot to second in the betting, 10-1 behind Jericho Rebine. So that was one of two handicap fancies I had, the other one being Quebecois, so I'm down to one fancy now.
So JP's got the first four in the market. For
Yeah,
the
I was
Kim
going to
Muir.
say my fancy in the race before Jericho got that mark dropped. Interestingly, would have been You Have Me in Stitches, who again is another JP horse. Obviously, it'd be a massive benefit in this race. I think whoever has Michael Keneally on board, and I assume that's going to be Jericho de Repine. So yeah, I'd be holding off on that bet now because I'm not sure how many of JP's horses are going to turn up if they think Jericho de Repine is. They probably think he's got a very good chance in that, I'd say.
There's an interesting favourite in the Jack Richards. Very, very people are drawing the similarities to last year's winner Caldwell Potter, but he does have a strikingly similar profile. Regent Stroll, 8-1, very short at this point, but could he just do the exact same? Bolt out in front, catch me if you can. He won. This is the same profile as Caldwell Potter. Caldwell Potter won a race at 2-11 last season. Regent Stroll won a nothing race at 4-11. Both beaten either side of that, third and second, and then both given the exact same mark. It's almost identical. Is it that simple?
I mean, he's a short price, but as you say, you can see why. His if you read some of his form, I mean, it's his half a length second to honesty policy at Aintree last season reads remarkably well in the context of this race. You must, I mean, I know Paul Nicholls definitely thinks he's got at least a few pounds in hand. I imagine it'll be a very similar ride to last year from the front, and it'll probably go close. Yeah, it's an interesting race. I mean, I've not really got a fancy in the race. I wouldn't be against anyone that's backing him. I suppose I'm interested where Slade Steele's going, but he's got a lot of experience. But I think he's going to end up in the plate on the Tuesday, and I think he'll have a chance if he turns up there. But I don't. Doesn't look like he's going to come here. So yeah, a lot of them. I mean, Cocktail advanced second in the market. Henry said that he'll be going for the RSA. McLaury's not running unless it's soft. 6 Mile Bridge is probably going to run, but it's hard. Again, it's hard to see what's going to run and what you need to know the Irish handicap marks in here first, don't you, before you have a real strong opinion, I think.
Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gareth.
So just going to say, just looking at the market here, just what Ryan said, the one that catches my eye is probably 6 Mile Bridge. And I think the plan is for him to go here based on, I was listening to, I think it was Nick Luck during the week. And the trainer was on saying that this was the plan. Doesn't think he's an Arkle horse and didn't want to run him in the RSA for the future. So it could be the old graded horse in a handicap, but we do know how competitive these handicaps are. But at the prices, thought 6 Mile Bridge at 10 or 12 to 1 was pretty fair.
Yeah, fair enough. So we've given every single handicap winner on Thursday. I'm sure it's going to pan out exactly that way, and it'll be a profitable Thursday for all. I suppose we'll just go straight through the card and get our best bets, our naps. All started off with the mare who cannot be beaten in the Novice. It is Bambino Fever. That'll be my nap of Thursday. GMAT, who's your nap?
I'd probably say, provided the ground is soft, which I assume it'll be, I think Tabor will take all the beating.
I would have agreed with you on Bambino Fever, but as you said, I think with Bambino Fever, she's so solid, and especially with Old School Outlaw. The one time she travelled out of Ireland, she did not do very well at Aintree, so I think Bambino Fever is probably the best bet of the day, but just for something slightly different, I'll go Manila Emperor in the Pertemps.
We've got a nap in the Pertemps 3 weeks out from the festival. I love it. Just a reminder, we got our first winner of the giveaway competition. Woody commented Dalston Lad for the Skeletons at 4 to 1, so we had a tenner on that. So the giveaway prize is currently €50. That's being given away on the Monday before Cheltenham. So subscribe with your chance to win, and whoever leaves the first comment on this video, I'll stick that bet on, and hopefully we can add more money to the pot. Gareth, Ryan, thank you very much, and thank you all for watching.